This is one of those this 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 amazing store, this little tiny country store, right? But if you come out of it, it's always like got big sky, like it's got this huge open space of sky. And look what it looks like tonight, man. What a cool night. Makes me want to do something, witchy. I don't know why the sky today has been such a draw for me. But look at that. This is still all those dark, crazy clouds behind me. But if you look right there, that's the sun setting. And it just made I don't have a good sunset place here. I did at Jeff's house. And we just have a little sliver of a moon you can barely see here. See if I can get you to see it. There it is. Right there. And that's it. Look how pretty. It's dark out. But I'm really enamored with the sky lately. I just love that one spot of how brilliant the pink is. It's so neat. It's really warm out too. Like, it's not cold today. All right, girls, you done for the night?
Hi, guys. So the floods didn't happen, okay? So we didn't end up getting flooded out. By Saturday night, it stopped raining and stuff started to, dissipate down. We were like, it was soggy out, but we didn't get flooded anywhere. At least not in Northeast. But I wanted to give you a story about when we did. So Jeff and I, as you know, Jeff lived on the river where the Northeast River and the bay met. Jeff's house was right there. And he had a little strip of beach. He had 50 foot of beach in Bulkhead, a beach with sand, and then the bay. So anyway, one summer night, we had a ton of rain like the weeks before. And so we would, it would be like if it rains up in PA, it comes down to Route 1 where the Conowingo Dam is. And they have like gates all along the dam. I think they have 18 or like 30. I don't know. A lot of gates. I would have to look it up and I'll put it here. How many gates are at the Conowingo Dam? Boom. Anyway, so that night we were sitting watching the sunset, but there was no water in the river at all. Like you could walk from our house across. I mean, it would take you forever because it's miles away, but you could walk to Charlestown. Okay, so I was like on the phone with Tim, and I was like, there is no water in the bay. Like, you can literally, we were dancing on the muddy bottom, you know what I mean? Because it was so weird. And Tim's like, I don't know, you better watch out because I heard that and he said the wind had blown out the water. And Jeff said, yeah, that's right. And but Tim said, when that happens, it's supposed to come back like twice as high. So I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, you should just be careful. I'm like, okay, no problem, I'll be careful. So anyway, we go to bed not thinking about any of this shit, regular day. I'm going to go to work tomorrow. And this is like, it's got to be 15 years ago. I could probably look it up. Sorry, I was eating a Mentos. And the end of it keeps getting caught, so I'm just not going to try it now. I flicked it and don't know where it went. Anyway, okay, so in the morning, it was a summer day, and I used to not work. I used to work at 1 o'clock. I would have to be at work at 1. I had somebody else take the day shift, and I just worked night shift. Okay. So I'm laying in bed, and I open my eyes, and I hear a cowbell, bang, ba bang, ba bang, like the cow, tinkle, clinkle, clink. There's a certain sound to a cowbell, we all know, okay? So I hear this cowbell, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like close, but it's summer. There's a breeze. We have all the windows open. It's a beautiful sunny day. So I'm like, why is there a cow in our yard? So I get up and I walk down the hallway, and the whole front of the house was like windows to the bay. And so I look out and it's the bay, and I don't see anything crazy. And I'm like, what is going on? And I walk into the den and go to look out the window, and here comes a fucking boat. And it like swings around and smacks against the house and goes ka-clank, clank, clank. And I was like, Jeff! And he jumped up out of bed and he comes running into the den. What's wrong? And I'm like, we're surrounded by water. So the way Jeff's house was, okay, so it was like on an incline. So his house was here, and the front of his house faced the water, and the water's down here, right? So we had all this yard, and then a little like wooden 4 steps to go into the house, okay? And so the house, like the entry into the house is like here. So you have to walk the steps on the little deck. And then the house is here, and then the street is here, because you pull up to the back of the house. The front of the house is in, anyway, so the street is here, and then there was a golf course and Jeff's 2 tennis courts. That's the way it was set up. So this was fine, but this all flooded. So what happened was, overnight, the water came down from PA and hit Route 1. And that's where the Conowingo Dam is, right? And so as it hit Route 1, it started coming over the dam, washing cars out. Like literally, the water was like pouring over the Conowingo Dam. I'm going to see if I can find a film of that. Because this all was like on the news, Chopper 6, whole 9. We were stuck for days. So I loved it. But yeah, the water was like pouring over, washing out cars on Route 1. So they had to, so here's the dam, and the water's coming down from PA. Here's the other side of the dam, and it's low, the water's lower, but this is where we live. Okay, we live down from that. So what they did overnight was they lifted all of the gates to let the water come through rather than wash over the Conowingo Dam. They warned Port Deposit, but they didn't warn Northeast. So we wake up at the same time as that happens. Exactly what Tim said was going to happen happens. All the water turns around and gets blown back. The wind shifts, and all the water is blown back in to the basin that is our house. So Jeff's like, oh my God, we have to see how far up it came. Because right when I see it's like covering the porch, but like we had one of those Dorothy cellars, like Dorothy, the ones that do this. But it was on the side of the house, the lower side of the house. So I was like, probably not going to be there. So sure enough, everything in there, which was the hot water heater, the water purification system, our pump for the well, like all that was gone. And because you have to be so many feet below sea level to be in a floodplain, even though Jeff was waterfront, he was not in a floodplain, and there was no insurance, or at least not that year. After that, they made it, but that didn't help us. So he had to literally replace every single piece himself because insurance wasn't going to cover it. But anyway, that's not here. That's not what this story's about. So we look outside. We could open the back door because remember, this is all flooded. The water is now up to the house, right? And our bulkheads underneath the water, our beach is underneath the water, and our front yard is underneath the water. But Jeff was lucky. His house was one of the highest ones on the whole street. Because a lot of people's houses sat lower, you know what I mean? And so we walk out the back. So now, okay, so this is all the flood right here. This is water up to the front door, but not in the house. It never got in the house. So we walk from the front door to the back door, And that's even going higher onto the road and into the golf course. Do you understand? Okay, but the people next to us, and next to them, and next to them, their houses were lower and filling up with water, and they were dragging their furniture out their back doors and up onto the golf course where it was the highest. So we went down the road and we're just dragging people's furniture, like trying to save their stuff, all the way through Hans's Point. That's the place where it was, Hans's Point. Okay, so then you couldn't get out. So the way Hans's Point sits is, so the golf course is high, and the tennis courts were high. They were all fine, and the houses behind there were fine. Behind all of Hans's Point, it's a small little private community. Behind it, the Audubon Society for the Birds owns like acres and acres, so it's just woods. But if you take the road to Jeff's house, okay, flooded out to here, Jeff's house, the road. If you took that road out, you're going to go, it went down and then around, okay? And when it went around, it dove down. It like did that. And right there was Bay Boat Works. Bay Boat Works was a marina. There's Jackson Marina and Bay Boat Works right there. And both of those marina sustained huge damage. Boats that were moored with like 4-foot lines went under when the water went above 4 feet. They had nowhere to go. A lot of people went and unhooked their boats just to save them and let them float, because there's nothing else you can do. If the water rises and you only have that much, then as soon as it gets that much, you sink that boat. So boats sank everywhere. It was awful. But also, the road was gone. The road where Bay Boat Works, it dips down to come and then goes out. And that dip down was just enough to not let anybody out. So we were stuck in this little peninsula for 4 days. And Jeff and we had a generator. So we got the news, and we had air conditioning where nobody had air conditioning. It was so hot. And we had food. So everybody was bringing their food to our fridge to keep it safe, because nobody had any of this, and they would come over and then get their lunch meat and stuff and leave. So because we had the generator, so that was awesome. We were waving at Chopper 6 and then running in and looking on Philadelphia News at Chopper 6. We didn't have cable, but Jeff never got rid of his antenna. I mean, we had cable in the house, but that got wiped out. But he never got rid of his antenna, so we got to watch like TV where everybody was so bored, and we had everything. We were the lucky people. We were watching like sports and shit where nobody could. And for 4 days, we couldn't go anywhere. We just hung out there and cooked food for people and brought them cold sodas and helped people cut down trees that fell and stuff like that. It was fun though. But anyway, yeah, that was the flood from, and then my house, conversely, my house did not flood at all. And I've had the same thing where everything around me floods, but my house is dry. And that was because the creek above Northeast, the one I showed you, that the Brown Creek over the bridge, that's the bridge coming into Northeast. And if it gets clogged up there, it just fills up like right away and wipes out that bridge. So there was no way out of Northeast, but you could take a canoe down Main Street, and people they were out there canoeing. And what's the other ones? Not at the canoe, oh my God, the ones you sit on, I can't think of the name of them. But anyway, people had their little sunbirds and all that out. They were like floating down the road. It was like amazing. But yep, that was the day. Northeast flooded out on us, and we did not have that this time, but I thought it was really neat. I enjoyed the flood. I know that's terrible because a lot of people lost a lot of stuff, and I'm sorry for them, but it was fun. Anyway, that's my story. I love you guys. Bye.